Another royal who was popular at one stage that won't be on the balcony is Prince Andrew. There's no chance that he's ever going to appear on the balcony again. What do you think would happen if Prince Andrew appeared on the Buckingham Palace balcony? There would be uproar, wouldn't there?
I think there would, yes. We in the media would make a huge song and dance about it. I mean, I don't think there'll be jeers or anything from the crowds who were there, but he's not going to come back to any kind of public role, and I think that's entirely correct. He's always been a very arrogant man, in my view. I've met him a few times over the years, and he was too pompous. He said he was too honourable for his own good. I think
that's what he said in the interview, wasn't it?
Well, I think he was too pompous for his own good, actually, and there is no place for him now amongst the working royals.
You must have, as I think you referenced, was it 38 years, did you say?
35.
35. Sorry, I've added 3 extra years on. I'll take them away, 35. You must have seen many troopings. Is there any memories that stand out for you over the years? You mentioned the Jubilee, the Diamond Jubilee.
Climbing up a huge ladder, that's what I had to do. A ladder that went miles and miles into the sky. Right. I don't know what, that was our commentary position, because I did radio and television. And so I was like in a bird's nest looking down at it all, which was fantastic, actually. It was very windy and quite cold. But I just loved the thrill of the occasion and the joy it brought to the crowds. I mean, I think we do the pomp and pageantry exceptionally well in this country. And I think we've seen that recently at the coronation and other great occasions of state. And people just get a thrill out of it. So, yeah, I loved all of them.
Do you ever have any indication of what goes on behind the scenes? Did you ever get, over the years, did you ever hear what might happen before they come out on the balcony? Because I'd imagine it's always the king or the late queen would always come out first. So there's probably a bit of jostling behind to kind of get in position and be, do you think that...
I don't think they jostle.
No.
I don't think they jostle. I think it's carefully choreographed. I think it's carefully choreographed, obviously. There's all this seniority and protocol. God, over the years, people ask me about protocol. I don't have time for protocol. But obviously within the family, they work out who does what. But personally, I couldn't ever be doing with all that stuff, curtsying or saying Your Majesty or Your Royal Highness. I'm sorry, but I couldn't say it. I'm a journalist, and so I would shake the late Queen's hand or the current King's hand, and I would say, hello, ma'am, hello, sir. But any bobbing or couldn't do that.
Well, we might get on to some of your interactions with members of the royal family a little bit later in the show, which, if you'd like that. But I was thinking also on the balcony, we'd probably see, hopefully, the children. Now, they don't often confirm it till the morning. So George, Charlotte and Louis, because it's a bit unpredictable. Well, we know how unpredictable Louis can be. Louis, he's entertaining, but he's not there for our entertainment, is he? He's still just a young boy. But people will be looking forward to the photographers and TV crews will be looking forward to seeing Louis on the balcony. He's good fun, isn't he?
Yeah, I think we, the media, have made him a little bit the star of the show, but he plays up to the cameras. Or maybe he doesn't play to the cameras, maybe he doesn't play to the cameras, whereas, everyone else is very well-behaved and proper. He's just a kid, and he has a naughty side. He reminds me of Harry, actually, when Harry was young, and Harry would quite deliberately stick his tongue out at the photographers, and Diana would say, stop it. And I think Louis has that mischievous side at the age he is. So, yeah, I think we're all a little bit charmed by him.
Absolutely. We hope to see him. We're still waiting to hear. I was talking about the Platinum Jubilee. I got to stand at the Horse Guards parade, and behind me is where members of the royal family were watching the parade, and William and the King were in front of me on their horses. Mm-hmm. And so we looked up at the windows because the Duke and Duchess of Sussex were also in there, but they were hiding way back. And we saw little Louis poke his head around, and he said, "That's my dad." And he pointed at William and said, "That's my dad." Then he looked down at us and he was asking people, why is this random group of men in suits? And I think it was Savannah and Isla, the Phillips children, like kind of pointed at us and said no, and then dragged him away. So he's learning early. Yeah. In a way that Harry would poke his tongue out at us. So.
Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? We make them self-conscious. Yeah. I mean, it's lovely at this age where they're not aware of the cameras, and but we will make sure that they obey the rules.
Absolutely. Talking of obeying the rules, well, Camilla has said on Saturday that she was at a book event down in Hampton Court where she admitted that Charles, her husband, is sometimes a little bit hard to control. I think was her phrase. I mean, is that the Charles that you knew over all the years? He's quite hard to keep still, even though he's suffering the cancer.
Yeah, I think she said he won't do what he's told.
Yeah.
And he is getting better, but he won't do as he's told. And I can imagine that. Well, I think he is impatient to get on with the job he has waited so long for, and he's also a man who is used to getting his own way. He always has, been cosseted in that way. And he has a short fuse, as we know, if he doesn't get his own way or if things go wrong. So I'm sure he's very cross that things have gone rather wrong this early in his reign. But he needs to relax and rest a little more perhaps than he is. And I'm sure that Camilla is running around like a clucking hen saying, "Stop it, Charles, stop it."
You knew Princess Diana quite well, I think. You've spoken about it in the past. I think Princess Diana, during her Panorama interview, she spoke about, she feared that King Charles might not be up to the job and would find the role suffocating. Do you think that has played out? Do you think that Diana was right, or do you think Charles has maybe proved that he's succeeding?
No, I think Diana was wrong on that. She felt that he would be much happier, and she told me that in some of our long conversations, he'd be much happier just sitting in Tuscany, painting. That's what he should be doing. And she was very cross with his then private secretary, Richard Aylard. She felt that he was not managing Charles's diary and his future and the whole strategy properly. And she felt that he would find what she called the top job very restrictive, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't think she was correct. And I think that we're talking about a time when Charles was a very tortured soul. He is no longer tortured. He's happy in his domestic life. And this has given him the freedom, I think, to concentrate on what he wants to do in his job, which is now being king. And I think he relishes it.
I've been really impressed with him. Honestly, over the years, when I see him as Prince of Wales and now as King, I've been really impressed. Like when he was in D-Day last week, I thought he was absolutely fantastic when he was in Portsmouth.
He's a really nice man.
Yeah?
He really is. I remember the first time I was invited to Highgrove, because I was invited because he apparently felt, according to the private secretary, that his image was skewed in some way in the press. And it wasn't what he felt it wanted to be. He felt it should be. Anyway, I was invited to Highgrove and we sat together in his drawing room or somewhere. I never know what they call all their rooms. And chatted about all sorts of things. In fact, we didn't get around to talking about his image. He actually wanted to talk about genetic engineering and organic gardening and farming and whatever. And then he said, "Do you want to see what we've done to the house?" And he got out a photograph album of what they'd done to the house at Highgrove, he and Diana, because she had played quite a part in the decoration in the early years, and so I actually sat on the floor by his knees so we could look at the photo album together, and it was just very natural. And he is a fundamentally really decent, good guy who cares deeply about issues such as the environment and food waste and diversity and inclusion, and these mean a lot to him. So I've always said that through all the troubles that I've reported on, what we have here is fundamentally a decent bloke.